Shalom y'all, welcome to another vlog by Danny the Digger, and this time, surprise surprise, I'm not outdoors, I'm not at any site relating to Jesus. I am confined to my old daughter's room because, well, let's say life is what happens when you're busy making plans. And what happened this time? Well, let's just say that when I grew up, my parents said, son, you're going to face many challenges, but always be positive. So I stayed positive, and I was very positive even through all the obstacles in my army service and when I was studying archeology. And I was always very positive about, what's going to be and how I'm going to treat every obstacle. And guess what? I'm positive now, even medically. I'm positive to COVID-19. So here I am, quarantined for a few days, but using at least the opportunity to address all of you accumulating viewers that are giving me such terrific feedback and incentive to keep doing, to keep providing more material, and especially those who are also supporting me in this project financially. This is so overwhelming and so touching. And I don't want to read out the names fully, maybe you care for your privacy, but just to mention the first name to show my minimal gratitude. Okay, thank you, Greg B, thank you, and Handcrafts B, Paul PayPal A, Rebecca F, George M, Rosio R, Melissa B, Walter, twice you gave me a support, Toda Rabba, Benjamin P, Jack G, Caroline E, Daniel K, Oren Video P, Heinrich W, Earl S, Victor D, Anthony D R, Joy C, Moses G, Nelly N, Robert P, G, Guy G, Melissa R, Walter again, Rosalina. Thank you, Rosalina. Thank you so much. Melvin H, Dennis W, Julie L, Marcus T, Alba A, Carilo S, and Cynthia B. Thank you all. When I suggested that people could also support my project of doing these vlogs from the Holy Land, I was expecting, I don't know, $2 to $5 kind of support. And yes, there is one or two $5, but there are others. Let's say the highest amount was $150. And I just couldn't believe that people would be so grateful for all the videos I'm doing and would be willing to support me. And yes, it is much appreciated. As I presented in the videos, I do need, and I finally did order a proper wireless mic. And in fact, my old computer just broke down, but this will definitely make a difference in my ability to get a proper new computer and eventually even better equipment for doing all my videos. Now, this is also the opportunity to address a question I've been addressed by a few of you of how do you make your videos? What kind of DSLR are you using? Well, I hate to break the news, but I'm doing it all with a phone, with an iPhone. Well, it's not just any phone, it's an amazing iPhone. It's the iPhone 11 Pro Max, which I bought after seeing it being used by tourists and being blown away by the quality of the photos. This thing is just an amazing piece of cameras, of lenses, and especially software. And although it's not the newest model, there's now 12 and 13, this still provides really premium level kind of footage. So I bought this for that purpose, both to provide good stills for my website and eventually for a vlog that I've been dreaming of doing. And finally, last month, I started doing this. But this is one component. And the second component is the gimbal. And I've been reading and watching a lot of videos and what's the best gimbal. And it hit me when DJI released this brilliant piece, the OM5. Why do I like it so much? Why did I order it right away? Here is the main component of it, and look how small it is. You can really fold it and put it in the back pocket of your pants or in your jacket, and it's, as they say, 20% lighter than previous DJI gimbals. It really is smaller than the third and fourth generation, and it's both lighter and smaller. Look how it folds. Now let me unfold it. You do it like this and like this, and all of a sudden it becomes the size that we are familiar with for gimbals. Now DJI also provides with it a tripod that connects with this screw, which I will get to later. And combined, it can be placed somewhere and become stable. But then either when you put it on the floor or even on a chair, it's very low. And also when you hold it, what I didn't like about the third and the fourth version of the gimbal is that you have to put your hand up in the air. Why do I love this piece? Because look at this magic component, like an internal embedded selfie stick that you can pull out, and I find that to be really, really helpful because my hand is lower, and also sometimes I want to take it over an obstacle and still get to film a certain item. Like for instance, if you saw my video from the Temple Mount, I actually put the device through the crack at the southern wall to show the viewers how the Hulda gates are right below it, and it's not the only time that I've used it. So this is really a brilliant piece of technology on behalf of DJI. Thank you. Thank you for coming up with this. But how do I connect it to the phone? Okay, for this, I'm going to do another very sophisticated item. I'm going to take back the tripod that is holding my son's phone. And wait, before I do so, let me show you how this was filmed. I'm going to use the mirror, another sophisticated system, to show you another way to film with a tripod and this round funny flesh device. The tripod I also use sometimes in my filming, but first you see that the tripod was on a carpet, so here I'm moving it back. You might think there's a cameraman. No, I'm operating here everything, as I also do in my vlogs, and that will enable me to, wait, let me tilt it down a bit. Okay, now you can see, hopefully, yes, the device, that precious gimbal. And how do you connect it to the phone? That is done through this clump, they call it. Okay, first you put it on the phone itself, and after doing it so many times, I already know more or less where's the center of the phone. And there is a little dent here that has to be matched with the indentation on the gimbal. You see, it sticks because of the magnet. And now, let me just strengthen this. And now the magic begins when I turn it on. Whoop! Did you see that? It automatically takes it to portrait mode. Hold on, let me make sure I'm on flight mode here. Yes, I'm on flight mode. And of course you have the DJI Mimo app to calibrate the machine with the gimbal in a complete way. But something that I've learned the hard way, and everything that I'm showing you is things I've learned the hard way as I was recording and then finding out something came out wrong. It's not necessarily balanced, even if it supposedly states it is. But there is an internal app of Apple. Wait, let me show it to you. It's called the Measure. Everyone with such a phone should have it. And if you put the level one on, then you see I'm actually tilted like 2%. So how do I correct it? I just go like this. There we go. Once we have the half green screen, it means that we are indeed truly balanced. And now we can connect to DJI Mimo and use the right button to switch to landscape mode. YouTube doesn't like portrait mode. And we are ready to go. Now, as I've learned over time, I like first putting the gimbal on a surface and talking to the camera. People have commented that they like seeing me and not just showing the site. So I start with a presentation. And for this, I just press on the button and start recording myself. But here's something that I've discovered. This thing, among others, also has an ability to track your face and follow it. Okay, let me demonstrate this. Let's say that this is my head, and if I'm putting it in front of the camera and I start recording, if I press the front trigger once, it will look for an item that's moving. Okay, now watch. Do you see it? It's actually tracking and following the edge of the simple selfie stick. Imagine that's my head out there. So no matter which way I go and what do I talk, it follows me. I love that item. Now, I use it in the introduction, and then at the end, you want to press the trigger again so it will stop doing it as you go back, and then I lift it, and I start recording the site itself. And this is also part of the magic, yes? It always remains balanced. Even if I'm moving up and down, it's always balanced, and if I do tilt it, it tilts, but smoothly. It doesn't do it, in a violent, sudden way, which ends with such a nice, smooth result. It's still, you need to remember, a device that you need to make sure that is recording well while you are talking. Remember, I'm both the director, the cameraman, and the narrator, the host, the star, and the soundman. Here's another issue. The sound, as I've learned the hard way as usual, is not good if you're using the microphone of the phone. In fact, I hope this very presentation is done well. So what I did is I went and got this simple cable dash microphone. I was looking for a wireless one, but believe it or not, no one in Israel is selling this. No one. So I made finally an order. It will arrive on February 7th, but that should really make a revolution. In the meantime, I'm still using this, and let me demonstrate to you how much of a difference it can make. You connect it to the phone, and voila. Do you hear me better now? Do you hear me better now? You should hear me better. So this definitely improved the sound of my presentations, but it has its limits. I can't get more than, 2 meters apart. And then I've learned the hard way. Again, the hard way. This is all very good indoors, but what do you do outdoors when you want to film, where the ark was placed at Bet Shemesh? Twice I went there and I couldn't upload the recording because the wind was too much. When it's too windy, it goes like... It's terrible. No one wants to follow such a presentation. So at the end, I realized I need something that professionals call... wait, let me put the mic here. What professionals call a dead cat, believe it or not. We're talking about a wind screener, okay? This is such a device, but this is not a professional dead cat. Twice, and I went all over the internet and twice drove into Tel Aviv looking for such a device to match such a mic, and there is none. There is none. In the end, you know what I found? I noticed in a shop that sells, cheap textile import, probably from the Far East, a hat that has, like in my wife's jacket, this kind of fur. And there was a little string with another part of it attached to it. I bought that hat just so I could cut this part off, because look, it's designed perfectly. As if divine intervention led me to that shop to find the exactly item that I needed, that you just put over it when it gets too windy. As you may notice, the sound is not the same, but when there is heavy wind, you still hear the voice pretty decently. Okay, so these are the items that I'm using for now. And then another item is, what do you do when you don't have a little table or a chair somewhere to put the gimbal on? Then what I do is unscrew this part, unscrew the tripod, and connect it to the tripod that I've shown you before through the mirror. And it is the right diameter. It really works. The only problem is, once you start recording, you have to keep it stuck as you go on. So for instance, if you've seen my chapter at Gethsemane, that's how I did it. And it's really good for the outdoors, but you then have to walk with it. It's a bit, not as, how do you say, agile? It's a bit heavy and it makes you slow down, but you don't need to look for a chair or somewhere to put the gimbal. You can simply rest it on the floor and keep recording, and it will record you at eye level. So it was a very good solution, in fact, for Gethsemane. But if you're going into a church where you have to go into a crypt or something, obviously the mounted tripod will be too much of an obstacle. But I'm still in the learning process, and I've just realized that you can actually add a certain clip or item that will enable you to quickly connect it to the tripod and disconnect it. That's probably going to be my next purchase. And then another item when you're photographing in a crypt or in a cave is, well, light. This camera is very good at daylight, especially the wide angle. But when you're switching into darker areas, it doesn't do that well, especially the wide angle. And even the ordinary camera, the ordinary lens will not shoot very well. So of course, on the internet, you got all sorts of professional lighting devices, but believe it or not, after doing also a good amount of research on this, I ended up just browsing through the old city market and finding an Arab hardware store, and I just asked him, listen, what is your best flashlight? But something small. And he pulled out this thing. Watch. Well, you need to be here in pitch dark to realize just how good of a light this thing does. And I've actually used it in the chapter that hasn't aired yet about Via Dolorosa. 15 continuous minutes of recording through the Via Dolorosa ended with making it again into the tomb of Jesus, but again there wasn't enough light. So then I pulled this out, and all of a sudden you see the interior of the tomb so clear. I was amazed, but then the monk started yelling at me, so I had to cut off the whole review. Anyway, this was all a nice demo and an alternative to the fact I can't broadcast right now from the field itself. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Again, I thank all of you for the comments, for the feedback, for those who give me financial support and contribution to this project. Thank you all. Toda raba. Okay, God bless you all. And remember, be positive, except maybe for COVID-19. Bye-bye.